Hello and welcome to Lamine's Legacy Episode 1, a brand new series over here on YouTube from a brand new content creator who's finding the start of this introduction incredibly awkward, and it's something I'm going to have to get used to over time. The point of this series is specifically to take Lamine Yamal and actually try and beat Messi's assist record and Ronaldo's goal record by the time the series is over. So it's most likely to align with Shawry Salah Stars from last year, if you've ever watched his channel. The first introduction video, I should say, is specifically just a pack opening from the moment I load up the account all the way through to me purchasing Yamal. There's no gameplay, it's just all pack opening for the first one. It does end with the icon pack that everyone gets for the Ultimate Edition pre-order. But ultimately, it's a small voiceover, one, to test if I even doing this correctly, and two, just to see how the video does on YouTube, in terms of the thumbnail and all of that sort of thing. It's around a 12-minute video. I don't know how long I'll necessarily speak for, but this is just me testing it out. In the packs, you'll see 40,000 FIFA points worth of packs, which is just a ridiculous amount. It's the most I've ever put on. I usually do free to play, but I thought I'd try spend some money this year. Thought it'd essentially help out with content creation. Was looking this a go, and also obviously build up the coin balance to get Yamal. I think I probably only needed around 20 to 25k to get Yamal, which you'll see halfway through. I end up purchasing him for 393. So I didn't really need 40k. I could have done with around the 20 mark, but the other 20 have just allowed me to build up a healthy coin balance to do stuff within the series. As I said, there's no real squad building objectives within the series. It's just gonna go with the flow. We'll use cards that we pack untradeable. If we pack tradable cards, we'll probably use them if they're interesting. We'll probably sell them on quite quickly if not. But I would like, if it is something that gets some traction and some viewers, sort of a collaboration or contribution from anybody who's watching the series. So I'm more than happy to bring in stipulations and anything that can make the series more fun and engaging. Because right now, as a new content creator, this may get less than 10 views. I have no idea. But some themes that we can do Spanish only, we can do Barca only, we can do La Liga only. There's a ton of things we can do. But ultimately the series is centered around attempting to score close to 1,000 goals and assists close to 500, specifically with the Lamine Yamal card. How we will sort of navigate through the series will specifically depend on how EA give promo cards and how he plays in real life, depend on Team of the Weeks and the sort of performance-based promos that EA do over the years, so it won't define all knockouts. Anything like that, but what we're going to try and do is essentially upgrade to his best version at all times, and that way then we can sort of still have something to work towards whilst not necessarily falling too far behind the power curve, which is obviously something EA are focused on this year. So with a 89 Yamal and his stats and playstyles, etc., he should be good for a while. But if he was to get a player of the month soon, or a team that we would be looking to try and upgrade to him, which depend on if he gets Team of the Year or not, which he could not. Dembele, Salah, Rafinha are all in the running for this year. Mbappe as well. I'm not sure if he's guaranteed it. Maybe his 12th man. Depends on Ballon d'Or coming up as well. But that card is probably a card that I'm going to struggle to afford regardless, because there's no plans to put any additional money on. Obviously, putting any more on is a complete waste of time and money, to be honest. However, if we could get some growth and there was a coin sponsor that wanted to help out with the series, then I'd be more than happy to take that on board and use those coins specifically to help with the series and continue to get the best versions of him as they release. So that's really what the series is about from an introduction perspective. It's not like it's set in stone. We can always change it if it comes to some viewer engagement and viewer interaction, and depend on what you want to see in the series. So by all means, leave a comment below. It's not going to be hard to read all of them, is it? It's such a small channel, and I'll take on board any feedback that I get or comments that are based around suggestions. Switching focus over to the packs really that you're watching in the background. They were awful. to put it bluntly, they were just terrible. You know, it's a prime example as to why you don't bother spending money on the game. You just keep it free to play and, you know, spend your money elsewhere. But from 40k points, we're looking at 800k, which if you actually do the maths on 7.5k packs, you're supposed to get about 800k anyway, and that's from discarding everything. So, you know, there was really nothing to show for it. There's, I think, four key packs that you'll see in the gameplay. First one's Rashford. He was about 16k when I got on the game, but I held him. I think I sold him for 25. So that's pack one. There's a Camavinga in there, which again, he was only 10k, but I knew he'd have a price range increase, so I just held. I think I sold him for like 28, 29. Got good coins out of him. There was a Thuram as well, the striker, Marcus Thuram, not Kefren, the CDM. And I think I sold him for, I want to say like 26. I sold him way too early. I could have got 35 plus for him, but I sold him a bit too early. And then the fourth and final pack of actually being a good pack was Vitinha, which I'm not sure if it would actually come up in the content just yet, although as I look at the screen now I can see the Camavinga pack popping up. But Vitinha, which was 70 to 85k I think, I've kept him, but that's about his price. Is the best pull out of 40,000, and yeah, I think it's just a prime example as to why you just shouldn't bother wasting your money on a game. But with that being said, as someone that has now spent for the first time in a long time, the game is probably as pay to win as it's ever been, which might sound a little bit crazy considering how the icons and high tier cards have been over the years. But with EA's attempt to slow down the power curve, it's evident from 3 days that the power curve's only slowed for the free-to-play players. And I mean, a prime example of that is literally in the 100k packs being released on the Friday night, you know, the Ultimate Edition release. I know a lot of people, and I've seen it online, you know, TikTok, Twitter, etc., like, people are transparently saying they were comfortable buying teams because they were under the assumption that the power curve was to be slowed. But clearly that isn't the case when it comes to store packs, which I doubt are the devs' decisions. They're clearly coming up from above. But it is disappointing. You know, I really thought this year you could buy teams and hold them for weeks on end, and even if you were to lose coins, it wouldn't matter because you would have gained them from actually, you know, your rivals and your champs, etc. But you can't keep a card going into content. You know, you're limited to like a 12-hour window of cards. You know, you have to sort of buy around content time on the first day, and then you have to be out by about 4 p.m. the next day. So, you know, you're talking 18 to 20 hours worth of time with a card if you want to be safe. And there's no way this year to claw back those coins if either you make a bad trade or you do get caught out, because there's absolutely no coin injection. I don't think you see them in here, maybe you do, but I had Squad Battles rewards today, so I'm recording this on Sunday morning, and you know, I got lucky. I got another Camavinga, which is tradable, and then an untradeable Barcola, which, you know, is about 30k worth of value. Like, that's not bad. Like, I would imagine 90% of people had a worse set of rewards than that. There's no coins coming into the game, so the market can't rise. Cards can't hold a price. And I think you're seeing that if you look at high tier cards, high tier meta cards. I think I'm down 100k on Yamal. I think Salah's down like 200k. I think Hansen's down like 200k. I know they're all right wingers, but the point still stands at high tier meta. Of course, they have the demand. They'll always have the demand, but people just aren't rich enough to buy them. You know, I would imagine the majority of players are free to play, and there's just no way to actually acquire those cards with making 10, 15k from rivals, making God knows what from champs. I haven't even looked at the rewards yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be poor as well. So there's just going to be zero attempts or zero ways in which you can make coins. So obtaining those cards is going to be incredibly difficult for those that are free to play. But alternatively, if you do just want to spend a ton of money, I'm assuming you can just click the store at 6 p.m. every day and have an abundance of packs to open. And it looks like that'll be no different like in years past. But as you can see on the screen right now, we've just picked up Yamal after, I think it is like 20k. Yeah, we're on 20,000 left. There is some cuts and stuff, so the Vitinha pack didn't come directly after packing that way, but you can after buying them out and packing them back, then that'd be nice. But yeah, you can see that we've got your man, we've got some spare change. I'm going to post another video tomorrow in the hopes that I get better at talking to nobody, because it's so weird, and in the hopes that I get better at editing and creating content that's actually engaging and enjoying, that can be enjoyed. So in that video we're going to cover my first set of Rivals games. I'm assuming like a lot of you, we started in Division 7, because I believe you only had to hit Div 2 last year to start in Div 7. I did reach Elite last year, so Div 7 was the starting point. It was quite easy, I think, playing on I played them on Saturday, so people were playing Thursday for early access, people were playing Friday for Ultimate Edition. I think playing them on Saturday meant that I didn't really play any of those, what you would call like Division 2 to Division to Elite Division players, because the games are relatively straightforward, nothing really to worry about. Don't get me wrong, part and parcel to the team difference as well. I'm not oblivious to the fact that my team is stronger than, I would say, 90% of those I play currently, due to the FIFA point spend. But yeah, I'll showcase exactly what happened in those games and give a bunch of gameplay tips, because I think there's a very particular way to score this year. And I think if you're not doing it, you're really putting yourself at a disadvantage, which is the low drivens. But I'll showcase clips and specifically state as to why you should use low drivens in that video for tomorrow. This recording is wrapping up with my pre-order icon pack, which I was happy with. As you can see by now on the screen, it's a German centre mid, which can only be one player in Toni Kroos. And to be honest, I was just hoping that I didn't get Oliver Kahn as the keeper. I really didn't want a keeper, or Georges, or whatever her name is, the German centre back, which I think were clearly the two worst ones. But for me, I got lucky with Kroos, and I'm very happy with Kroos. And this is the end of the video. So thank you for watching. Leave any comments about the series down below. Any feedback on how terrible my commentary is, because it is so awkward. Don't be afraid to let me know. You're not going to hurt my feelings. And I will upload that Division Rivals tomorrow with basically a scoring guide. So yeah, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.